Welcome back to Outside Looking In. This is episode 2. I know it's week 9 of football, but this is episode 2. Little difficulties you can getting on here, but we're back now. With my co-host here, Dre Day Media. That's his YouTube channel. And we're gonna jump right into it. First we're gonna start off with the contenders and pretenders of this season. I'll start first. I think it's only a couple contenders in the NFL, and I think it's one in the AFC and one in the NFC, and they've been the best two teams in football this year. I'll start with the Bills. Josh Allen, who I think was my MVP pick, if I remember correct. They've been looking good. They're getting Tre'Davious White back this week. Just traded for Hines from the Colts, so trying to help their running back room out. I still don't think that's enough in their running back room, but they've been looking solid all year. And then you have the Eagles. They've been looking great. Defense looks great. Jalen Hurts looks great. AJ Brown looks like, a first round pick wasn't enough. It should have been 2 or 3. The way he's playing. Everybody's clicking. Well, those two teams are clicking. Everybody in NFL is kind of falling behind those two teams. I think those are the only two contenders I'm willing to go out on a limb and say right now.
I'm gonna agree with you, and then I'm gonna just throw one more team in there. I'm gonna throw the Chiefs in there just because. Really, they haven't really played bad this year. He is a quarterback even without, Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to the Bills, but it was pretty much a back and forth game. I think that if there's enough time and, Mahomes had gotten the ball back. Well, he technically did, but that game could have gone either way. It was only a 4-point game. So until the Bills knock the Chiefs off in Colts rivalry, I'm gonna continue saying the Chiefs are contenders, but definitely the Eagles and definitely the Bills. But those are the three.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I'm not ready to put the Chiefs in there. I don't know why. It's just something. Their run game doesn't move me. I know they got Clyde from LSU and Pacheco, and McKinnon. It's just I don't think it's enough. I don't
It's
think
an
it's
Andy
enough.
Reid led team. You ain't got to worry about running the ball.
That's very true. And they did just add Kadarius Toney at receiver. So maybe they can sneak up into contenders for me in a couple weeks, but not right now. Not right now. In pretenders, this NFL season's been crazy as it is. Everybody's bad in my opinion. There's a couple good teams out there. Who's some of your pretenders?
I'm gonna throw the Cowboys out there, but I'm
Mm.
gonna say the Cowboys offense. As a 100% diehard Eagles fan,
Mm-hmm.
I at least legit in the sense that Michael Parsons is Michael Parsons. Trayvon Diggs, he's gonna go for the ball and he's gonna give up big plays. It's just the way it is. But their defense, you can't lie, their defense has played well. But but they played 2 games that they should have won, which they did. Now, granted, they had some trouble against the Lions. They just had some things go their way, and that's how they ended up winning. And then they just ran the ball all over the Bears. But I'm gonna say that the Cowboys are the Cowboys offense is a pretender.
Mm-hmm.
And then another team I'm gonna say is a pretender out there in the AFC. I think everybody's giving the Jets a little too much love right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've gotten real lucky in a lot of games. Their defense is good. Their defense is definitely taking that step. But Zach Wilson has not been good in any of these wins. Like he's made some
Awful.
good throws here and there, but he has not played like a good game, like from the first quarter through the fourth quarter and things like that. So you got Elijah Moore wanting out. They've had, I think, one of their running back, I think Breece Hall, I think he got hurt. So they're down Breece Hall right now. So it's just, it's more weight on Zach Wilson's shoulder, and he ain't really performing. So there's a whole lot more, but I'm gonna just stick with those two: Cowboys offense and then the Jets offense. They're strictly pretenders.
All right, couple pretenders for me. Piggyback off you. The Jets, definitely throwing the Jets in there as a pretender. Zach Wilson, awful quarterback. I'm sorry. He's just not good at the quarterback position. They honestly was throwing the ball better when Joe Flacco was out there. Like it's like I know a lot of fantasy
He
owners
was
that
top 5 in the league.
yeah, a lot of fantasy owners were mad when Zach Wilson came back. He hasn't been throwing the ball to Garrett Wilson. So definitely the Jets on the pretender list. I got another team, Minnesota Vikings. They're 6-1. They're riding high, but absolutely not. Kirk Cousins, primetime games, all playoff games are primetime games. I'm not buying it whatsoever with the Vikings. Their division's bad. Green Bay's bad this year. Detroit's awful. The Bears are awful, and the Bears just traded everybody. So they'll definitely get a playoff game, a home playoff game. But they'll probably play one of the NFC East teams in the first round. I don't think they'll beat the Cowboys or the Giants,
You
which is
saw how they
funny.
look against us.
But which is funny because another pretender I have is the Giants. I'm not buying into Daniel Jones. I like Brian DeBall as the coach. Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, come on now. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. Another team, because it's plenty.
Not
Oh,
at all.
I have plenty. I'll end with the Tennessee Titans. I'm definitely not buying Tennessee. They're probably gonna win a division because the Colts been playing bad this year. Tennessee is 5-2, but they have a -6 point differential. Don't ask me how that happened. They're on a 5-game win streak after starting 0-2. Don't know how that's happened either, but they're just not a good football team. If you blow the box out Derrick Henry, it's over with. Like, just make Tannehill throw, make Malik Willis throw, whoever's in there, because Tannehill got hurt, and
It
you'll beat
helps
those
when
guys.
you get to play the Texans twice a year.
Does it absolutely? And Jacksonville, they started off looking like they were going to be something. They were 2-1, and then they lost 5 straight. So you got the Texans and Jags on your schedule for the whole year. Probably going to win some games. And the Colts, maybe the Colts can come back. They're only like 3 games back in the division. They can probably come back and make some noise. But their situation is crazy. And now we're going to do the biggest shock of the year. For our biggest shock, we're going to do only good things because we're going to do biggest disappointments as well. So who's your biggest shock of the season so far?
So my biggest shock of the year, I have two, but they're technically together. So my biggest shock is the NFC, or not NFC, I'm sorry. My biggest shock is the AFC West as a whole, because I remember coming into the season, everybody, they had traded, the Broncos had traded for Russell Wilson, the Raiders got Devontae Adams, Justin Herbert was supposed to take that next step. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I picked Justin Herbert to be, to get that MVP, take the Chargers to the Super Bowl and all that kind of stuff, or at least maybe to the AFC Championship. And the AFC West has not been good outside of the Chiefs. Broncos have been a big disappointment. I know we'll get to disappointments in a moment. Raiders, and then the Chargers, they've been fine when they've been healthy, but man, that injury bug has hit them ever since week 1. It seems like every single week they just had somebody going down with some type of injury. So the AFC West as a whole has just been a shock just because of all the pressure that we put onto them. And that takes me to my division, the NFC East. That's been the biggest shock, because outside of Washington, man, all of us, we, if you didn't rank people by, divisions and stuff like that, we technically would have been the top 3 seeds, going into like the first 6 weeks of the season. The Giants, they came back in week 1, beat the Titans, and went on this undefeated streak. And I believe until last week, their only loss was the Cowboys. Cowboys they had a quarterback controversy with Cooper Rush and Dak Prescott. And then us being undefeated out here, Howie Roseman, I'm not going to lie, I spent many seasons talking bad about Howie Roseman. But these past couple seasons, he been doing well. AJ Brown looks like a steal. Jalen Hurts has been playing well. Granted, he's been doing whatever work he did in the offseason. Miles Sanders is playing well. Dallas Goedert. He got the rookie Jordan Davis, who, unfortunately is hurt right now. But Darius Slade, James Brad Johnson, thank you, Saints, for that. So, it's just, we flying high right now. So the NFC East and the AFC West, those are my 2 biggest shocks, going in the 8 weeks so far.
All right, my biggest shocks. Let's start off with, you said the AFC West. I'm going to go to the NFC West. Seahawks 5-3 after trading Russell Wilson, getting a bunch of picks, and they're actually a good football team too. Everybody thought they were going to come in, tank, just lose a lot of games, be in a division with the Cardinals, who's got Kyler Murray, got Matthew Stafford, and you also got, I'm blanking right now,
Jimmy Garoppolo,
Trey Lance with the 49ers. We know they're good. Now they got CMC, but the Seahawks are winning that division. That was a big shock to me this year. And also, I put Tyreek Hill on the list. Going to Miami, maybe he would struggle a little bit just because no Mahomes. He's a deep threat. Tua can't really throw the deep ball. And he's at 961 receiving yards already. In second place, it's 760. So he's up by almost 200 yards receiving. We're not even in week 9 yet, and he's about to have 1,000 yards. So he's doing just fine. He's doing just fine right there. In my last,
if I remember correctly, I think I saw. I think I read something the other day where it said that's like the 3rd most receiving yards through like 8 weeks of the season in NFL history, behind just Isaac Bruce and Marvin Harrison. And both of them put up record
Mm-hmm.
numbers, and I believe in the exact same seasons that they got that, I think. So yeah, he's on pace for greatness this season.
And my last shock, it's probably, going under the radar, but I think the rookie cornerback class this year has been absolutely amazing. You got Elam from the Bills, who's been pretty
Mm-hmm.
good without Tre'Davious White. Sauce Gardner's been good. Derek Stingley's been good. Tyreek Woolen
Mm-hmm.
from the Seahawks is leading the NFL with 4 interceptions.
Yep.
Alante Taylor from the Saints is coming, only giving up 2 catches to DeAndre Hopkins and Devontae Adams in his first 2 games starting because he was injured. So the rookie corners this year have been absolutely fantastic. And honestly, the rookie receivers haven't been that far behind. They've been putting up some good numbers. Drake London, Olave. I'm ready to see Jamison Williamson get out there for the Lions. But the rookie class this year, it's been a pretty good one for the most part. They didn't really take any quarterbacks, so I guess it was a lot of skill positions in offensive linemen. I think they all look good. And last but not least, on my shock, I don't know if it's really shocking because everyone in the world knows he's talented, just couldn't stay healthy, and that's Saquon Barkley. Let me knock on some wood for him because he's second in the NFL behind Nick Chubb in rushing yards, only behind him for like 50, 60 yards. And Chubb's had an extra game so far. I think Chubb's had an extra game. I could be wrong. But anyway, he's only 50 yards behind Nick Chubb, and he's playing great this year. And it sucks for you because you're an NFC East fan. But Barkley's looking like Barkley, and it's a contract year, so we know how guys get in contract years.
Right.
And now we'll move on to the biggest disappointments. And this is funny because my biggest disappointment is one of your biggest shocks. I'll go player and team, and they're both the same. Devontae Adams and the Las Vegas Raiders. Absolutely awful. They are absolutely awful. Saints just played them, so I got a firsthand in look, at that team, and they got shut out by the Saints, whose defense has been piss poor this year. Devontae Adams got shut out by a rookie corner in his second career starts. And the Raiders are 2-5. They've just been awful. Like Josh McDaniels, it's different when you don't have Tom Brady. I get it. But like they have not been good. Their car doesn't look great. Hunter Renfro's been in and out the lineup. Darren Waller's been hurt. But everybody in the NFL is hurt. So they're definitely the biggest disappointment on the year for me so far.
So I'm gonna go with kind of like a weird one. So my biggest disappointment is just, legendary offseason mistakes. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is Tom Brady should have stayed retired.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Ever since he came back, he has not. He didn't even look well in week 1, even though they beat the Cowboys. But he didn't look well that game. Mm-hmm. He really hasn't looked well, at all, except maybe the first half of that Falcons game, which technically the Falcons probably should have won that game, if they didn't call that stupid roughing the passer call on Grady Jarrett.
And also, not to interrupt you, they also shouldn't have won the Saints game, but that's the game that Lattimore got thrown out. Right, they came back and won. So they haven't. Yeah,
because they didn't start scoring until that whole, that whole situation happened. So Tom Brady has not been playing well. Both Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams would both wish that they would redo that whole decision because they both miss each other.
Yep.
I understand Devontae Adams and Derek Carr, they're friends. They went to college together, played together, and all that kind of stuff. But this is the pros. This is about getting money. This is about getting stats, getting wins, making it to the Hall of Fame at the end. And right now, Devontae Adams, Derek Carr is not helping you get there. I don't think that you won't get there. But you build a lot of seasons like this, and you won't be a first ballot Hall of Famer. It might take you a couple tries before you get in. And Aaron Rodgers, I thought he's a great quarterback. Granted, you give him a couple of new pieces, young pieces, stuff like that. He'll be able to teach. It would be a little bumpy or rocky to start, but they would still be okay. They'll be winning and stuff like that. I think they have like the 30th. Or like at least the low 20 ranked passing offense. Like they've been dreadful. They were down like by 10, 17 points to the Bills, and they're still running the ball. So they just have no faith whatsoever. And then the Broncos' decision to trade for Russell Wilson hasn't worked out. Like he has just looked bad. All the previous Seahawks players, that kind of didn't like the way that things went down. They've all been making sure that they take their shots, whether in interviews, press conferences, social media, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So legendary decisions, legendary players. It's just it hasn't been working out, and I bet you a lot of them would wish they would go back and redo what they did this offseason.
Because another thing on that Broncos situation, they basically had to trade Bradley Chubb to get a first round pick. Like if they were riding high, if they were 6-1 or 7-1 or whatever, they wouldn't have traded him. But not like, oh, we're bad. We don't have
Jerry
first
Jeudy
round
was on the
picks.
block too.
Yeah, they got to get some of them picks back. You trade a lot of first and second rounders to get Russell Wilson, and it's not panning out. So I mean, the Seahawks are riding high. They got some extra picks, and they're playing. Hey man, you get in the playoffs, and you get an extra first round pick from another team. That's great. The Eagles looking like they may have that with the Saints, but I don't know about all that just yet.
Well, and then the other thing, the Broncos, I think they were way too premature with the contract extension as well.
Yeah,
If
that
I'm
was
not
crazy.
mistaken, he had 2 years left on his deal.
Yeah, that was
Like
crazy.
let him play a year because he got a brand new coach. It's a brand new system. Play a year, see how it happens, see how it goes, and then give him his money. But now you're locked into whatever form of Russell Wilson you got. You're locked in with him for another 4 or 5 years, unless you just want to destroy your cap like that. But but we all know cap's a myth. So
It's
who
very
knows
much
what
so.
might happen.
Very much so. Also, I got one more disappointment just because we're here. Sean McVay, I think the hype got to his head, and it's just been brutal over there. He went to get Allen Robinson in the offseason. They don't throw him the ball. It's still 20 targets a game to Cooper Kupp. Like, it's absolutely insane what they're doing over there. I hate watching them play football. It's just not good. Them and Cam Akers can't get on the same page. Don't know what's going on with that. So he's not playing. Now you're just rolling out Darrell Henderson, and I think Malcolm Brown's still over there. It's just not a good football
Better
team.
go sign
Offensive line
Odell.
thinks like you're basically putting your season in the hands of Odell. And I love Odell, but come on now. Like, what are we doing? It's 2022. If you can't figure it out with Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, and Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, then I think you're the problem. Like, I just think you're the problem. So, all right. Now we're gonna move on to MVP / defensive player of the year. I'll start first with MVP. Actually, I'll let you start first with MVP. I think
Well,
I
we
got
all
an
know
idea.
who the MVP is right now.
I don't
The
know. I don't.
MVP is the MVP right now is 100% Jalen Hurts. And then right behind him, I'll throw Josh Allen up in there. But we're undefeated. We're undefeated. The man only has 2 turnovers, which is the only turnovers our team has the entire year. He's got, it's either 12 or 14 touchdowns right now. Granted, it's not a lot passing, but hey, no one can stop us on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. So, hey, he's taking care of the ball. He's playing better. Our team's undefeated. We're the best team in the league, record wise. So right now, until we lose, it's his award to lose. And then defensive player. Well, no, I'll let you go MVP before I say defensive
MVP. I don't know why we're doing this nonsense for Jalen Hurts. He's definitely the MVP. I'm joking. He's definitely the MVP right now. It's not even a question. If you have an undefeated team or a team that's like, 13-3 or 13-4, I guess now, or with 12 wins, 13 wins, they're gonna give it to the quarterback on that team. That's just how this goes. It's gonna be whoever finished with the better record out of the Eagles and the Bills, quarterbacks getting the MVP. They'll both be first time winners. So like that's what they're gonna do. If I can see somebody come and steal it from them too, I think that's a better question. I don't know. Maybe if like Tyreek goes absolutely insane and goes for like 2,500 yards or something like super stupid. But other than that, I can't see anybody come and take it from him. And defensive player of the year, and as much as I hate this team, probably gonna say Michael Parsons. And I think we both predicted that.
We're in accordance there.
Yeah, I think we both predicted that one beginning of the year. So Michael Parsons, dude's just good. Like, I mean, I just hate that he plays for the Cowboys, but he's good. Maybe they'll trade him for Sean Payton when they want him next year. So, we'll look into that. But yeah, Michael Parsons he's probably the MVP, not MVP, but defensive player of the year right now. But I do think Myles Garrett is coming after watching him against the Bengals Monday. Oh man, he's coming. He's looking good. So yeah, Michael Parsons, defensive player of the year in my book.
I agree.
Just no kind words for the Cowboys?
Nope.
All right, the last thing we'll do before we get out of here, any second half predictions, shockers, upsets, or playoff runs, anything you feeling? I know we didn't talk about this, so it's on the spot.
Well, one thing I will say, I do think that, a team, I will throw this out there. A team that currently right now has 2 wins will make the playoffs.
I can see it. It's tight. I can see it.
And the only reason I'm saying that is because I held out hope that the Jags were going to win their division. I'm not saying it's going to be the Jags, but
all right, I'll let you know
we'll go out on a limb. And yeah, who still has 2 wins?
2
I know
wins.
the Jags are 1.
Steelers, the Jags, the Raiders, the Panthers. That is it. A lot of people have 3.
So Panthers Panthers are still in the division. The whole NFC
Mm-hmm.
South is wide open.
Wide
So
open.
who knows what could happen? PJ Walker and the offense, they came on strong. DJ Moore, keep your helmet on, and y'all wouldn't be in this conversation right now.
Y'all being first.
And then Jags, granted, if they can just learn how to close out games, they'd be fine. They're more of either a first half or a second half team, but they never put it
Speaking of the
all
Jags,
together.
the Jags are 2-6 with a plus 14 point differential.
See,
they just
and then the Raiders, same thing for them. I mean, they're not going to win the division, but it's still open for them to potentially get a wild card. So yeah, out of one of those three will make the playoffs. I believe that.
All right,
or at least that's my my bold prediction.
My bold prediction is, I guess it's not really bold because it could kind of happen. I don't think 3 NFC East teams make the playoffs like everyone's already, penciling them in. I think somebody's about to fall off the cliff. Don't know who it is. I don't think it's going to be the Eagles, so that means it's going to be the Cowboys or the Giants. I think reality is going to set in. Both of those offenses don't really scare me, so I think they're just going to fall off the cliff. Another one, I guess it's not really a bold prediction because they're already trash, but Tom Brady would not be in the playoffs this year, and it's going to make me so happy that he's just nowhere to be found. And after the last one, I don't think I have it. I think that'll be it right now. I'll save my Saints takes for a later date because I think we're gonna make a run if we can get healthy. But that's the biggest if in the world. Any last closing thoughts before we get out of here?
Really, my only last closing thought, because we are pretty much at the halfway point of the NFL season. Like we said, there's really only 2 to 3 teams that are truly contenders right now. All you other, 29 to 30 teams, depending on if you are kind of Chiefs or not, y'all got to turn it around. Like we need these games to be a lot more entertaining and we need a little bit more parity in the season, and we can't just wait till playoff time and one thing happens. So let's make the regular season a little bit more entertaining, if y'all don't mind.
Also, just you said that and you brought me to a biggest disappointment that I didn't even think of, but we definitely got to mention it before we get out of here. Amazon Prime. Hey, you have had the worst football games I have ever seen in my entire life on Thursday night. They have been god awful. I know you had the Broncos a couple times. We watched a game where it wasn't a touchdown. Like, please, don't get better, please. I know it's not y'all.
And then this Thursday, it's us and the Texans.
Oh my God! This is bad. This is bad football. I feel bad for them. No, I really don't. So it's Texans and Philly. Let's just look at the next couple weeks real quick since I'm already on it. Atlanta versus Carolina. Well, we saw how that game went. I guess it was. I mean, it was it was interesting.
That might be entertaining.
It was entertaining. I don't know if it's good football. Then you got Tennessee, Green Bay. I'm not too high on that. Oh, that's Thanksgiving. I said, why is it 4 games on Thursday? It's Thanksgiving, so I'm just gonna skip that one. They got Buffalo, New England. They're gonna Las Vegas Rams. Yeah, it's not really any hot games on Thursdays. So we'll see. Hopefully they come down to the end of the season. They got San Francisco, Seattle. Maybe that comes down to the division or something like that. But yeah, them Thursday games have been absolutely awful, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Episode 2, week 8, week 9 or whatever. Doesn't matter. We'll be back next week. Same time, even though it's not a time. Same channel, even though it's not a channel. But it's the Boot Tragedy, man. We out.
Deuces.